For this video I am on my travels again, and I am again in the country of Japan. This time I am in the city of Nagoya. Now, just like last time I was in Japan, I am going to try and show you one of the RC stores here in Japan, which the locals and some of the tourists do buy their RC stuff and will visit. The store in mind today is Tam Hobby. Now, Tam Hobby do have quite a few stores around Japan, and the one in Nagoya is not a small store. It is, however, situated slightly out of town. You might have trouble getting there. Luckily, I did hire a car and I was able to get there, and there is sufficient parking underneath the store. Now, the store isn't hard to find. It's this big blue metal building right under the flyover, as you can see here in the video. And the store is generally open daily from 10 AM right through to 9 PM in the night. And just like I said, the store is very easily recognizable. I mean, it's basically a big blue box in the middle of nowhere. Some bright yellow writing that says Tam. There's a huge sign that stretches right up into the sky that you can hardly miss. Now, the entrance to the store itself is on the first floor above the car park, and you go up this bright blue and yellow staircase to reach what is known as the main door. You will be greeted by a drinks machine, and of course, upon entering, not minding my manners, I mean, Japan is known as the country of manners, I did ask if it was okay to film inside the store to show you all you guys. Like I said, Japan being the very hospitable country that it is, I was greeted with, "No, you bloody well can't." That was not quite what I was expecting. I mean, last time I was in Osaka, I did go to the Super Raijicon store and they were more than happy to let me film inside. But it seems that Tam Hobby is a little bit more camera shy, let's say. Nevertheless, as resilient as I am, I filmed it anyway. So here goes. Now, Tam Hobby store is not just an RC store. There is lots and lots of other toys and other types of hobbies throughout the entire store. I mean, upon entry, you will be greeted with certain figurines and action figures from various mangas and cartoons and movies that you'll probably know. And we're talking about anything within the Japanese pop culture, from Dragon Ball Z right through to One Piece, and even others like, well, Sailor Moon and Gundam, of course. As you can see from this quick pan around the store, it is actually very well spaced out. The aisles are not too narrow, but the shelves are actually not too high either. But it is pretty well stocked. I mean, just walking through the aisles, we did see lots of, you know, different types of models, model cars, die-cast cards, paints, lots of different airbrushes, things like that. I mean, for car fans, you can see there is a lot of cars on this shelf, and those are from the initial D sequel, MF Ghost. That's quite a strange name for a sequel. I mean, MF Ghost, that would literally translate to me as motherfucking ghost, right? Also, a big wall of die-cast model cars. Now, for all of you that love die-cast model cars, this place is the place to go, because there are loads of them. You know, all different scales, all different sizes. We're talking anything from touring cars right through to Formula One. And for Formula One fans, there is a lot. Now, I know that these are nothing to do with RC, but moving through the store, we did finally find the RC section. And the first thing we came across were these ready-to-run or pre-assembled Tamiya kits. And underneath the Tamiya kits, the also ever-popular Kyosho phasers. And as always, the Kyosho phasers and the Tamiyas, they always look so good, right? The scale, the realism of these kits, always popular, especially here in Japan. Now, opposite the ready sets, there were some toy grades, my first Mini Z kits, and some very low quality toys, RCs. Also, I did see a couple of RTR drift cars coming from Yokomo. Those did look pretty interesting. I've not seen those before around in Hong Kong. I don't know how they work. And again, back to the Kyosho phases. Now moving along, we did find lots of different kits, and mostly were two-wheel drive drift kits. That is probably what is most popular in here in Japan, in Nagoya, and also the off-road Tamiya kits, and of course it's popular TT02, which is the touring kits for Tamiya. Those were pretty much all on the same shelf. Now here at the end of the aisle we did see some bodies, mainly for drifters I'm assuming, and the Tamiyas, and a couple more RTRs on the shelf here by Yokomo. Of course the Sandmaster 2.0 from Kyosho. There's a Mad Van up in the top there. And the X 2.0 again from Kyosho. These are all ready to run kits. Now next to these there were a selection of Mini Z, and the selection was pretty weak, to be honest with you. There weren't that many, even for bodies and for the kits themselves. There was very few to choose from. But again, walking through the aisles, there were a lot of spare parts. Now random spare parts, not too many of each one. Probably parts that you would need for each of the kits that they sell here. And again, more of the drift cars with this nice display cabinet of Pandora RC drift cars. Next to that was a whole display shelf of RC drift car bodies, all by Pandora RC. Like loads of them, literally a whole shelf. We're talking a whole shelf dedicated to Pandora RC body shells. Now again, running through the other shelves, again more spare parts, spare wheels, spare tires, LiPo batteries, servos, things like everyday things that you will probably need to build your own RC kit and get them running, chargers, things like that. Wheels and tires, everything you need. And there was quite a big selection of spare parts and optional parts here. And moving on to the next aisle, of course, we wouldn't be in Japan without anything showing, pretty manga girls with rather large options. Now you can see from the footage, the RC department or the RC selection itself was not that great in this store compared to the Super Raijicon I visited in Osaka. But if you leave the store, walk back down the stairs and just walk down the road to the annex next door, just make your way into the two attached annexes next to the big blue building, walk inside, and you will find in the first big annex, first of all, you will find the touring racing track inside here. You can see it's a pretty good sizable track, and here there is a driver stand you can stand on to get a better view. Unfortunately, the track was empty that day, or that morning when I reached there, and there was nobody actually driving, but at least I can get to show you the track. You can see it's not a bad track, it's well lit, and it's indoors, it's undercover, so there's no problem of being affected by the rain. And if you walk across the corridor to the annex facing the touring track, you will find the indoor drift track. Now the drift track itself is similar size to the touring track. Again, it's inside undercover, no problem of being affected from the rain. And there is one large track, main track here, as you can see, with the driver stand, and there is a smaller practice or beginners track at the back of the annex here. So as you can see, pretty good facilities from the two tracks here at Tam Tam. Like I said, the the RC department in the store itself wasn't expensive. The whole store as a whole had a lot of stuff, all different types of hobby based, and I guess if you're in the area or you're passing by, definitely worth a visit. There's a lot of geeky stuff in there, but definitely worth a look. Now I will be returning back to Hong Kong next week and back to reviewing products as normal and goofing around. But in the meanwhile, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. In the meanwhile, please feel free to enjoy one of these.